the screaming. Right. Yeah, yeah. He ends up by singing Ave Maria.
Yeah.
The screaming has been it's been memed.
Oh, it was not how it was supposed to go. It's so good.
Hello, friends. I'm Anderson Marchak.
And I'm Ricardo Segura.
And we are the Panel Bros. Welcome to the panel.
Welcome to the panel. Yeah.
Well, here we are.
Oh, yeah.
If you have been watching along with us and listening to us, then you know that usually during October spooky season, we tend to put horror movie discussions or horror movie breakdowns. And we didn't do that this year. We didn't get around to doing that many podcasts during this fall. But if you've noticed, we have been on a bit of a DC movie kick.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to talking to Ricardo, and that brought us to where we are here for this breakdown. It takes place around Halloween. It feels like a movie that's, could be Halloween coded, spooky season coded.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So we're gonna start up here and let's go.
Yeah, baby.
This movie was directed by Matt Reeves. It was released March the 4th of 2022. Today, the Panel Bros are going to be doing a breakdown for The Batman.
The Batman. Bro, honestly, I think this is the first movie that I got to see theatrically after the theaters came back. When remember the theaters were all shut down during everything in the pandemic. I think this was the first movie that I was able to go back to the theaters to. And I remember seeing the trailer for it. And obviously, big Matt Reeves fan, loved what he did with the sequels for the Planet of the Apes trilogy. Cloverfield, you name it. Like I've been a Matt Reeves guy. So I was excited to see this take with Matt Reeves. And, I remember the open narrations like October 31st. And I was like, oh, so when you brought it up, I was like, you know what? This plays around with Halloween. So we could definitely get into this one.
Yeah, it came out. It takes place during Halloween time, and it's Batman, and it's a little dark, and so what? It's a little Halloween coded. Why not? We're in a bit of a DC kick right now, and we talk about horror movies all the time. I feel like on the channel. So for this year, it's like, hey, listen, we're still on this DC kick. Why not? This is significant too, because this is our first time talking about a non-DCEU movie. Exclusively as a breakdown. So I thought that would be pretty cool. If you guys watch or listen, I'm a big Batman fan. Ricardo's a DC fan, so that makes him a Batman fan by default.
Yeah, baby.
So why not? Before we get started, we do need to mention here that this wasn't always going to be Matt Reeves' movie. We've talked about it before, but while Zack Snyder was still heading up the DCEU, the Snyderverse, if you will, Ben Affleck goes online and he announces, or the studio announces, he's submitted a script written by Chris Terrio where he's going to direct a movie called The Batman.
Yeah.
And it's set in Arkham Asylum. We get little pieces here and there. Deathstroke is going to be the main antagonist, like little things, and we still don't know about it, to this day. But eventually they're, the big mess at Warner Brothers with the fallout of the reaction to Batman v Superman. And then while Justice League was filming, Zack had to leave. All that stuff happened. And then, Ben Affleck was told, it doesn't look like we're going to move forward with you directing it. Matt Reeves is going to come and direct it. And that didn't work out, So it ended up being Matt just... listen, sorry, Ben, we got to do our own thing. So he submitted his own script, and here we are.
Yeah, it was a double-edged sword, a bitter pill to swallow, because on one end we were super excited to hear the rumblings of the Ben Affleck, the Batman. That was just something that was making the rounds. We've heard from sources about how amazing the script was, and Ben had done numerous interviews talking about like how much he learned while working with Snyder on such a big movie and the scale. And obviously Ben Affleck is a huge Batman fan, so that was something that we were all looking forward to. And little by little we start to see like the cracks, and you had Ben, who was going to direct and star in the Batman, which would have been just incredible. And little by little, it was like, hey, he's no longer directing. We're going with Matt Reeves. And I was like, okay, maybe they're just easing back on the responsibility, because I can't imagine how difficult that would be. Can you imagine being in that cowl and suit while directing the movie and go, you know what I mean? Like, that's tough. So it's like, all right, well, maybe they're doing this thing where they're gonna be like, hey, Ben, we just want you to star in it, but Matt's gonna direct it. And I'm like, okay, cool. And I remember Ben Affleck being at Comic-Con and say, look, man, he would walk around like an ape if it meant getting to work with Matt Reeves. Like, Ben was ready to go. I remember he even tweeted, welcome to the Batcave, Matt Reeves. So I'm like, all right, like we're good to go. And then little by little, it was kind of like things are changing. And to my understanding, Matt wanted to do more of an origin Batman. I was like, are we going to de-age Ben? Like, what's the deal here? And eventually Ben just ended up getting cut out, and Warner Brothers allowed it and said, hey, we really want to keep Matt on board, to kind of get away from everything that had been going on previously in the last few years. So Ben was out, and unfortunately we never got to fully see what that Batman movie was going to be, but we got a move from Matt Reeves, and I love Matt Reeves. So again, it was that double-edged sword where I was disappointed on one end, and then on the other end, I'm like, you know what? Okay, it happened. Let's see what Matt Reeves brings to the table.
Exactly, and you will see as we go along here. It, in some aspects, it lived up to the hype. There was a lot of hype surrounding this movie, and we will talk about that today. So let's get started here. We're here at this opening scene, and you hear Ave Maria playing. And by the way, great song choices for this movie.
Yeah, dude. Oh, the score and everything.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Yeah, great score. We see a man getting stabbed outside of a window from across the street, and obviously it's a fake out. It's his kids playing with his kids. The family leaves, and now we found out this is the mayor. He's watching the news about his debate, and then unfortunately he is hit and bludgeoned from behind by a masked man.
Bro, this whole sequence feels like a horror movie.
It does.
Like the way it's shot, the lighting, the atmosphere, the point where the Riddler's in the background and you don't see him initially until there's like a lightning strike, and you just see him show up, and you're like, whoa, like that just came completely out of nowhere. They faked me out because in the beginning I thought we were seeing a young Bruce Wayne. I was like, is that what this is? Like, are we going that far back? I was like, and then you're like, oh, okay, no, that's not what we're doing. Excuse me. And then you get the bludgeon scene with the weapon, and we'll talk about the weapon. I don't want to spoil it yet. And it's just it's very violent. Like, it's a very violent PG-13,
right?
Getting away with what they can get away with, and not necessarily seeing the strikes, but knowing what's happening. Just executed so well of a scene.
All right, let's get our first screen share here. All right.
Oh yeah.
So there's the bat signal. We get Bruce Wayne, played by Robert Pattinson.
Yes.
And he is narrating. He says it is Thursday, October 31st. He talks about what Gotham City has become and why he had to become Batman. This is significant in that Batman is narrating here. He narrates, let's get a little sweaty here. He often narrates in his comics. And while we may have had Bruce Wayne narrate here and there in the movies before, it was never on this level.
This was straight up like comics, LA noir type of vibe, like right off the bat.
Exactly. It's great. And it happens a few times in the movie. We get a montage of the criminals running away when they see the bat signal in the sky. We hear the theme. It's starting to set the tone of why it is scary to be a criminal in Gotham City. I don't know how soon in that he mentions it, but we get to find out not year one, but this is Batman year two.
Year two. Yep. He talks about 2 years of late nights and losing sleep and becoming a nocturnal animal and everything else. And I love the shot of him walking through the city just in in street clothes. Like he's got a baggy jacket, he's got the backpack on.
Yeah.
We learn later he's got the cowl and everything else. And I like the idea of him walking through the city to kind of find the crime like right up front. I thought that was really cool. And like you said, we kind of get to see the reactions from the criminals in the city of what it's like to see the bat signal in the sky. We start seeing different criminals kind of like, hey, I don't want anything to do with that. But you still, and we'll talk about it in the next scene, you still get to see that this is still something new to Gotham. While there are criminals that are kind of just like, oh, I don't want anything to do with that. And the idea of that he could always be in the shadows. And I love this part where you keep seeing criminals look to the shadows and they're wondering if he's in there. And just the thought of him being there was enough for them to go. And I love that. He goes, I can't be everywhere at once. He says it. He goes, the Batman can't be everywhere at once.
Yeah.
But I'm always in the shadows. And it's just it's greatly executed.
Yeah. And they don't stop what they're doing, but they're just kind of like peeking around. Like, is this the night that he gets me?
Yeah. It's very Boogeyman-esque. It's like, is he in there? Is he in there? And again, with the score, it's done so well.
All right. Got our next share here. So I am glad because it doesn't take long before we see Pattinson in the suit.
Oh yeah, not long.
A lot of times it takes a while, and there's a reason for that. But for this one, no, it was immediate. So Batman encounters a gang attempting a mugging, and the one goon says, "What are you supposed to be?" And then he whoops him.
Bro, he beats this man to a pulp.
Yeah, and then to send the point home, we're gonna do a hammer fist on you,
bro.
he went full MMA and did a hammer fist on him.
He beat him so bad to the point where I was like, that guy's dead. You know what I mean? I was like, he's beating this guy. And this is what I was talking about earlier. Is I really like this scene too because it really shows us the timeline, right? Batman's 2 years deep. And we're seeing situations where criminals are kind of hesitant, like, do I go that way? Is he in the shadows? And then you have this group where they've got numbers. So he's kind of just like, what are you supposed to be? Like, he's still got that tough, like he's trying to be tough. So there's not that fear yet. It's not instilled in just everybody at the moment. And I like it because, again, it shows that this is still a new thing. Like, Batman is still new. This is clearly these criminals have never encountered the Batman. They've probably just heard the stories and they're kind of just like, whatever. So I do like that he just comes out of the shadows, just walks out. I was like, what are you supposed to be? And he just murks them, just beats them ridiculously. And he gets hit a couple times and it's great. We get to see a struggle. But it's just a really good way to introduce Robert Pattinson in the suit right away.
Yeah. And they released this in an early teaser too.
Oh yes,
the scene, and it was just like, oh wow, he's ruthless. We're getting to see Pattinson as Batman. So, obviously he drops the infamous line, "I'm vengeance."
Such a good line because you expect him to do the "I'm Batman."
Right.
That's what you expect, right? Goes, "I'm vengeance," and when he says it, I'm like, oh, that's so good.
Yeah,
that's so good.
And then they realize, quote unquote, it's him. And he just destroys them. He goes, we got the electrical like taser type deal, just whooping on them. Some of them get to leave, thankfully. And he does such a good job. And I like that Reeves did this. He did such a good job of beating these goons up and terrifying them that the person he's saving was scared too. So the man said, "Please don't hurt me."
Yeah. Because again, this is still like, you gotta understand. Like, there's a guy in a bat suit beating people up. You know what I mean? And again, it's still somewhat new. So it's like, oh, please don't hurt me. And that the Batman is scary. Like, he is scary. And there's going to be a lesson throughout the movie by the end that's really great. But as of right now, he's just terrifying.
Alrighty, let's get to our plot breakdown here. On Halloween, Gotham City Mayor Don Mitchell Jr. is murdered by a mass serial killer that we talked about. This is the Riddler. And reclusive billionaire Bruce Wayne, who has operated for 2 years as the vigilante Batman investigates the murder alongside Lieutenant Jim Gordon, played by Jeffrey Wright. And this is much to the disdain of the Gotham City Police Department because they are crooked. There's a lot of crooked cops, and it's not good. The Riddler, and I haven't mentioned this yet, paid by Paul Dano.
Love Paul Dano.
We're going to talk about him. Oh, yeah. He has left a message for Batman at the crime scene. So we get back to the Batcave and we see surveillance footage from his cowl. He records everything.
Yeah.
When he's in costume, that way he can go back and analyze everything again. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, like the idea that like he's got these like cool eye contacts that just record everything, and you just see his eyes movement and everything, and it's a nice illustration of what he meant by like he doesn't sleep. Like he goes out all night, does his thing, and he just watches the footage over and over again to find clues.
Yeah, and they didn't hone in on it for this movie too much. I don't think they did anyway, but when Bruce lost his parents, a lot of people make that reference. That's the night that Batman was born. Batman wasn't born the day he put the cowl on and went out. It was the night that his parents died, and that started the journey of him becoming vengeance, trying to just make a difference in this world so that crime would not prevail in Gotham City. So that's why he became so obsessed with the cowl and with the mantle of Batman that now this is what I do. I'm a billionaire, but I don't care about any of that stuff. I care about this.
Yeah.
So
we definitely see a very obsessed version of Batman in this movie for sure.
Yeah. So we have some interactions with Alfred here, paid by Andy Serkis, and he's kind of mean to him. He drops the line, "You're not my father." And,
dude. We're gonna get to that, but they're poor Alfred. That's all I'm gonna say, man. For right now, that's all I'm gonna say is poor Alfred, because Alfred just ends up like taking a lot of verbal lashing from Bruce in this movie. And this was the beginning. Is like he's just trying to like talk him through this and see what's going on, and he's just like, Alfred, stop. You're not my father. And it's just like, why would you say that, man?
Right. I love Alfred's response. I'm well aware.
Yeah, I'm well aware. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just like, why you do that?
It was almost like a subtext. Like, I was there the day your parents were buried. I'm well aware. I'm not your father.
Yeah, Bruce. I'm well aware. Like, I've been a part of this family since before you were born. I am well aware.
Right. Exactly. So the following night, the Riddler kills the police commissioner, Pete Savage, and leaves another message for Batman. Batman and Gordon, by the way, it's almost like this, like, good cop, bad cop situation where I love that, like, Bruce and Gordon are, like, kind of teamed up in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Because this is, like, it's early in Batman's journey where he's still learning the detective part about it. And, he's found an ally in Gordon. And, it's kind of hard to be a vigilante if you don't have at least one friend on the force.
Yeah, he's got to. And I would argue we have seen Batman and Gordon work together in previous films. I would say this is probably the first time where we've seen them have so much screen time together, so much case study together. Like, it's almost as if, like you said, we're just watching two partners, a good cop, bad cop routine. These guys just working together constantly. And it helps because, one, we haven't really seen that before, but to show the major distinction between the dirty cops and Gordon. Like, the dirty cops are out there, but then you have Gordon who's out there like playing the real game, and he's working with Batman, going to bat for him as well. Like we saw in the opening scene when Batman decides to show up to the crime scene because there's an envelope with his name on it. The other cop is just like, what is he doing here? Like, he's a vigilante. How is he not involved? We don't know that. There's a bunch of arguing, and Gordon's just like, nope, he's with me. Let him go. You know what I mean? So I do like seeing their relationship in this movie.
So Batman and Gordon, they discover that the Riddler left a thumb drive in Mitchell's car containing images of Mitchell's affair with a woman, Anika Kozlov, at the Iceberg Lounge, a nightclub operated by the Penguin, crime boss Carmine Falcone's lieutenant. We have a Turturro playing Falcone, and then obviously the Penguin played by Colin Farrell.
I want to see the penguin. Dude, Colin Farrell. I'll gush about him later, but man, what a role. Guy killed it.
Yeah, stole every scene he was in this movie, and yeah, we're gonna talk about the show by the end of this breakdown. You know what I mean? Absolutely.
Oh, take it easy, sweetheart.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good,
man. Colin's so good.
Yeah, sure. All right, Ricardo. You want Oz? I'll give you a screenshot of Oz.
Yeah, oh, you're everything they say you are.
Oh, like, so good,
baby. You know, I do want to put over this too. There were many people that were not aware that was Colin Farrell.
Right.
Like they were like, that's Colin Farrell. Like, dude, that's Colin Farrell. You know what I mean? And that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a bit of a James Gandolfini homage, a little bit, you know.
Hey man, Gotham is in New Jersey. It's already they already said it, you know.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Gandolfini, amazing actor. So Batman makes it to the Iceberg Lounge. He beats up the twins to get in. So now we're seeing Batman in action here. He beats up everybody on the way to get to Oz. I don't care how many of you come after me. I'm taking all of you down because I need to talk to Oz right now.
He launches a baseball bat at somebody. Like, he's ruthless, dude. You know, and like this Batman, again, like there's this because it's year 2 and we've seen multiple versions of Batman. This Batman is so rough around the edges, especially even with his fight style. Like it's almost like this chaotic energy. Like, again, he throws a baseball bat at somebody. Like, the guy's got a gun on him and he's like, you want to do that? And he just launches a baseball bat. It's so good.
So while the Penguin pleads ignorance, Batman notices that Anika's roommate, Selina Kyle, played by Zoe Kravitz, works at the club as a waitress. So Batman discovers the information while observing Selina's apartment across the street. He does a stakeout, essentially. And I gotta say something here about Anika. She is an original character created for the movie. And I find it funny that no matter what, Selina always has to have a blonde friend or a blonde roommate.
That roommate,
you know,
gotta have that roommate.
She's not Holly, which is, you know, let's get sweaty here. The canon comic book character in Dark Knight Rises. Anne Hathaway Selina had her friend too. So
gotta have that roommate.
Yeah, I feel like it's always a nod to Holly.
It's always like because they always want to establish right away that Catwoman, while she may be a quote unquote criminal and or thief, that she has she cares for someone. It's kind of like no, like she actually cares for someone. So I feel like they always have to put that in the films to remind people, like no, like she's a good person. She's just, you know, doing some bad things. That's all.
Exactly. So you can see through the window there that Selina informs Anika of the information. She's understandably concerned, and Anika looks terrified after she tells her the information. So following Selina, we see Catwoman do her thing as a cat burglar, right? We got to. And Batman sneaks up on her and they fight. And I would venture to say that she kind of impressed him a little bit with her skills. And they eventually get back to the apartment and Anika is gone.
Yeah. I love their fight because you can tell that obviously, like, Batman's not really trying to throw down. He's just trying to get whatever she has. And it's so funny because they're going through this martial arts exchange. And the moment he grabs the information he needs from her, she's just like, hey, give it back. Come on, give it back. Because now it's like, hey, we're not trying to hurt each other. She's like, no, I need to protect this. And like you said, by the time they get back, he's like, all right, like, let's go to the apartment. Let's talk to her. Let's see what's going on. And by the time they get back, the girl's gone.
Right. And there's a bit of a mystery here. See, in Nolan's trilogy, we find out he was trained by the League of Shadows, you know? So here we don't know who did his training. We don't know who.
Yeah, they don't talk about it at all.
You know, in this continuity anyway, we don't know. So they're clearly skilled enough to take down a group of people. You know? So for Catwoman to be able to stand toe-to-toe to Batman, who trained her?
Yeah, she was throwing down, man. Like, she was throwing down,
cool.
You know?
Right. I mean, she's got a bit of a gymnastics background too and such, but I always found that was pretty cool that she could always go toe to toe with Batman, you know?
Oh, yeah.
When Anika disappears, Batman sends Selina to the Iceberg Lounge for answers. And that's where we get introduced to the contacts. And he was using them before, but now we see how they work. And, you know, she's got the earpiece. It's really cool. You know, this red lens.
Yeah.
And he's feeding her, what to say, what to do. Pretty cool.
This is where they start setting up that tension
Oh,
where
yeah.
he like leans to her, he goes down, he's just like, look at me. And they're just staring into his eyes. I'm like, we're already setting up that tension. I love it.
Yeah. So she discovers that Savage, Mitchell, and the district attorney, Gil Colson, are all on Falcone's payroll.
Yep.
Not good. And once she finds some more information out, he's like, "No, don't walk." She's like, "I'm done now. I
Yeah,
need
like,
to."
I'm done. He's like, no, push it, keep going. I need more.
Yeah.
She's like, no.
So the Riddler abducts Colson. He straps a timed collar bomb to his neck and sends him to interrupt Mitchell's funeral.
Oh, yeah.
When Batman arrives, the Riddler calls him via Colson's phone and threatens to detonate the bomb if Colson cannot answer 3 riddles. So now we get to see just the maniacal nature of the Riddler. And up until this point, we've usually seen him as like a bit of a quirky character.
Yeah.
The animated series comes to mind. Jim Carrey.
Yep.
Take your pick. If you want to talk about the comics, that's just the Riddler. Batman the animated series. Just that's just who the Riddler is. But we're doing a more sadistic take on the Riddler, and that's what Reeves did here with him, and it's pretty terrifying. Like you got to answer these questions, almost like a nod to the Jigsaw.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. He had a trap around his neck. Get 3 questions wrong, your head's gonna explode. Like, that's horrifying. And he's just answering questions from a phone and riddles, like, of all things, riddles. So yeah, it's extremely dark natured. It was just the atmosphere, and we'll talk about this later too. You can definitely feel the homage to the movie Seven throughout this movie. And this was the first scene where you really start to feel that, because you can tell that he before Bruce puts on the cowl and starts dealing with the bomb situation, he knows that he's there. He just doesn't know where. And you get that great shot on the balcony where you kind of have a shadow silhouette and it's him, but you don't see him. So you get these nice like homages to the movie Seven and whatnot. But this whole thing is just dark intense.
Yeah. So Colson refuses to answer the third, the name of the informant who gave the GCPD information that led to a historic drug bust ending mob boss Salvatore Maroni's operation.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, no, they're not going to go there, right? It's like, no, Batman's going to save the day. It's going to happen. Nah, it blew up. No. And yeah, he got killed, and Batman was right there, so he got blown away, when the bomb went off.
And I felt awful, because you understand, like he says it, like Batman's like, just give the name, and he goes, I can't, you don't understand who these people are. If I give a name, I'm not just dead, my entire family's dead. If the bomb goes off, it's just me. And it's like, geez, man, like they're wrapped up in the worst of the worst. But you understood then why he made that choice. He's like, nope, I would rather die right here and right now and protect the people I love the most. And he's just like, hey, and like you said, you expect Batman to find a way to disarm the bomb or whatever. We're gonna see some skills at play. It's like, nope. At 3, 2, 1, bam, and he just goes flying, dude. And you're just like, I can't believe we just saw that. Again, Matt pushes that PG-13. Like, we just saw a guy literally lose his head from an explosion. But the way it's framed and everything, they make it work.
We went with the PG-13 route where we're just going to see the explosion, because if it was rated R, it would have been a lot more graphic than that.
Oh yeah.
So I put some notes here. Great scene. It's intense. We get more streaming from the Riddler, and that's a lot of his MO here. Streaming, like a live stream type deal. Mm-hmm. And they didn't answer the final question, and when the bomb went off, this sent Batman flying. We shifted to the next scene. He wakes up at the GCPD, and the police are trying to take his cowl off. He jumps up off, and he's ready to fight the entire Gotham City Police Department.
It's so good. He wakes up in such a like, nah, dude. Like, they grabbed his cowl, and I think the line is, we got you assaulting 2 officers, and he goes, now you got me assaulting 3. And
Yeah.
he's just like, nah, dude, I'll throw down with all of you in here. It's such a good scene.
Yeah, and I love Jeffrey right there. Like he puts his forearm up and he, pushes Batman again. He's like, "No, you need to calm down."
Yeah, like he
Not going to end well.
and that's what I liked about Gordon. Like again, they felt like partners, and like he pushes Batman against the wall, and he's like, "No, you need to calm down." And Batman, he just kind of has this look in his eyes, and he goes, "You too." And it's like you're gonna stand up for them after everything that we know. And he's just kind of like, no, I just need a minute. He makes all the cops get out. He's like, no, just give me a minute with him. I got this. And I'm like, all right, this is
I like great. Gordon. So he's ready to fight them all. And then Gordon leans in, just hit me and escape.
Like they're doing their talking and they're pointing out a dirty officer because it's like, how do you get the busted nose and this and that and everything else? He's like, oh, he was at the club, whatever. Yeah. And he's like, all right, here's the deal. He was like, you're gonna have to hit me. He's like, and I love that they keep doing this thing where they like look at the crowd of officers and then they go back, and he's just like, yeah, and he socks him. He socks him pretty good, man. He socks him pretty good.
Great. So he escapes. He runs through the police department, heads on up, and he glides off of the building. Yeah. So we see Batman fly. It's pretty cool,
Cool. It was cool.
And he crashes.
Oh, he crashes and burns, man.
Yeah, because the parachute comes out and he miscalculated and it hits, the overpass there. And he ends up crashing. Thankfully, this didn't happen further up. Otherwise, he might not have made it.
Oh, yeah, dude, that would have been it. Your boy would have been splattered.
So, but this scene gets criticism because it shows Batman not being successful in a moment, but I thought it was great because he's only been doing this for 2 years. And this might have been the first time he ever did this in the field.
Yeah.
He might have tested it, but this is the first time doing it in the field. And he's only been doing this for 2 years. He had to get away, so I'm glad that they put this part in the movie.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it because, again, there's a sense of realness and rawness to it. The idea that he's doing this through a city, guys. Like, this isn't like cliff jumping where you're jumping off a cliff and there's nothing around you. He's going through buildings, and it was really cool to see the way they incorporated like that flight suit where he pushes it and it turns out, and he looks, he glides down, and it was really cool. Like, they could have gone very old school where the cape just stiffens up, you know what I mean? But they were like, no, like he's like, nope, hit a button, flight suit glides down. And I love the POV that we get. I like that we get this one shot where it's directly on Batman and you kind of see the city behind him. Like, it's done so well. And I liked it like you. I liked that the parachute hit the overpass and he got knocked silly, man. And you see him get up and he's got like a limp, you know what I mean? He's just like, oh, and like he just kind of limps off. And I'm like, dude, no, that's great. Again, we're only 2 years deep. I want to see this so that way, if we get other movies, we get to see his progression.
Right. So Batman and Gordon meet up again, and they deduce that the informant may be the Penguin. So they track him to a drug deal. Mm-hmm. They discover that Maroni's operation was transferred to Falcone with many corrupt officers involved. Selina inadvertently exposes them when she arrives to steal money, and then she discovers Anika's corpse in the trunk of a car.
Yeah.
So that brings us to our next scene here, which is an incredible scene. It's the chase scene.
Listen. There are a few sounds in life, in film, I'll say, that give me like a tingle. Like, I'm like, oh my God. One of them, obviously, for those who know me, is the sound of a proton pack turning on. Yeah. Right. Another sound is the sound of Batman's Batmobile. And when he's revving this thing up, dude, and I remember being in the theater and you just hear it like just getting louder and louder, high pitch. And it's like, whoa. And I remember just going like, ugh, I'm good. So good. That sound is brilliant.
So it's this incredible chase sequence. Mm-hmm. And there's this one moment, and obviously, there's a lot of action, just typical. I don't want to say typical, but it's a standard chase sequence, mm-hmm. Batman's trying to get the Penguin. And then this one part where Penguin thinks that he won. You know, there was an explosion behind him.
Yeah, I got you. I got you.
Yeah,
Like,
and then you see the Batmobile come up through the ramp, and he's like, "Oh no!" You know,
Yep.
and he hits
It's
him
so
just
good.
right for the car to roll.
Yep.
And you know, when the car rolls, he sees that
Oh,
he sees Batman coming towards him, and Farrell sells the terror in his face that he caught me. Oh my gosh, what is he gonna do to me?
bro, the cinematography, the performance from Colin Farrell, like all of it. It's just there are certain things in this movie, man, that they just get. Sound design is fantastic, score is great, and some of these visuals, man, they're just gorgeous to look at. And like you said, we have Batman walking towards Penguin, who is upside down. So we're
Yes.
getting an upside down shot of
Oh,
Batman
yeah.
walking, and we get an inverted shot again, but we get this upside down shot. And I love how like you said, Oz is just terrified, and then you just get Batman just like lower his head into the car.
Love that they did that he peeked. Yeah.
Like it's not. I don't know why it's so terrifying. Like he just kind of leans his head down and just looks in. It's so good.
So Batman captures the Penguin after a car chase, but he and Gordon learn that the Penguin is not the informant. This interrogation was an important part of the movie. It was solid.
Yeah.
Farrell once again owns the scene. It's hilarious. They're
Oh, yeah,
trying
it's
to
great.
get answers, but he's just lightening the mood. You know, they're showing him pictures. Oh, what are you showing me? I don't want to see that. You know,
What are you showing me? Come on.
yeah.
What? La rata, la rata. What? No habla español. And I'm
Oh,
like, yo, it's so good. It's so
yeah,
good.
it's great. But with the interrogation here, you know, they're trying to get answers, and then he helped them.
Yeah.
You know, we find out what El Rata Alada means,
Yeah.
and then now that got the gears turning, like, oh, we got what we needed. You know,
Yeah,
so
because they technically got some of the lingo wrong with the Spanish.
right,
They got a little bit of it wrong with the Spanish. And this was another thing that I really liked about the movie too, is that Penguin is all in the city. And the idea that he would be bilingual makes sense because they're working with numerous groups of people and everything else. So I love that. Like, again, it's kind of like a laugh moment because we do laugh. Like, what do you show me? And he's like, La Rata. And he goes, oh, world's greatest detectives. Don't know. What matter? No habla español. And it's like, it's so funny in that moment. But again, it shows this like the Penguin of like working with certain groups and everything else. And like, it would make sense that your boy might know more than one language. And I love that they got that information through this interrogation. And again, I just like the dynamic of Gordon and Batman working together right here.
So Batman and Gordon follow the Riddler's trail to the ruins of an orphanage initially funded by Bruce's deceased parents, Thomas and Martha Wayne. This is a reveal here. They learn that the Riddler holds a grudge against the Wayne family for failing the orphanage. Batman's butler and caretaker, Alfred Pennyworth, is hospitalized after opening a bomb letter addressed to Bruce. Reeves got us here. He got me, certainly.
Dude, I thought it happened. I thought he did it.
Did Matt Reeves just kill Alfred?
Yep, I thought he genuinely did it.
Yeah.
It was because you're getting all this information. You're getting this reveal about the parents and everything else. And like, it's heavy stuff. Like, you're getting heavy reveals. And then all of a sudden you find out like, oh my God, no, Alfred has a bomb. It's going to open it. And Bruce is just racing to get there and make that phone call. And when you see that explosion, like you, and I think many other people as well, like, I don't think we're the only two. I'm pretty sure there was quite a few people that had some doubt. They were like, oh, I think Matt did it. I think he killed Alfred.
Well, do you want to know how dark that would have been? You know what a monster this could have made Bruce if you did something like that to Alfred. Oh man, that would have been nuts. But thankfully he made it, and then we get that soft moment where he apologizes. He makes, you know, he's like, "Listen, I'm so sorry," and then they have their war moment. So that's nice.
Yeah. I like the hospital scene.
Yeah.
Again, we still get a little bit of aggravation from Bruce, where he's like, you lied to me. Like, he's don't, like, we're not going to get it twisted. He's very happy that Alfred is alive.
Right.
but he's still dealing with the reveal about his father, his mother, the idea that his mother was going through this mental health crisis and his father potentially did something to hide that truth from the world, that potentially his father had someone killed in order to protect this secret. Like, there's all this stuff that's coming now to light, and he's kind of like, you lied to me. And there is this moment where, like, they're not arguing with each other, but it's just kind of like they're each speaking their facts. And Alfred is very just like, no, this is what happened. Your father was a good man, this and that. And we're getting a Bond moment regardless. So I like the scene too.
The Riddler leaks evidence that Thomas, as you just said, who was running for mayor before he was murdered, hired Falcone to kill Moroni's journalist, who was writing a story about Martha's family history of mental illness. And we've touched on this already. Bruce confronts Alfred, who maintains that Thomas only asked Falcone to threaten the journalist into silence. Upon learning that Falcone had murdered the journalist instead, Thomas planned to turn both himself and Falcone over to the police. Alfred believes that Falcone had Thomas and Martha Wayne killed to silence them. So now we have a motive as to why Bruce's parents were killed.
Yeah.
All right, let's get a screen share here. So Selina in this scene reveals to Batman that Falcone is her father. You know, you need to stop. Ooh. Why are you doing this? Because he's my father. Okay.
Yeah.
That's why.
This was a reveal. Like, he's pushing. He's pushing and pushing and pushing. And she's like, because he's my father. And it's like, oh.
Right. And this is a bomb getting dropped because he just found out that essentially Falcone was responsible for the death of his parents. Unconfirmed, but the evidence is there. Mm-hmm. This also provides a little more context as to why Falcone might have touched her face like that earlier. If you remember, Bruce said, like, what's up with your, we don't have a relationship. Well, he touched your face like there was something there.
Yeah.
But Bruce was wrong. They're not in a relationship. However, Selina knows he is her father. The movie doesn't really make it clear if he knew or not.
They don't. It's not really. They don't give any type of explanation whether or not it's 100% confirmed or anything like that. But yeah.
Right. Until later on. But at this moment, no.
Yeah.
This scene I put down as significant because we find out that now Bruce and Selina are connected in some way. Mm-hmm. She doesn't know he's Batman yet, but we get the first kiss of many. Throughout the movie here. Selina learns that Falcone killed Anika for discovering that he was the informant through the stolen cell phone.
Yeah. When they play back that message, it's hard to listen to, man, because like, considering what's happening, again, they're getting away with some really dark stuff. You don't see it, but you just hear it. And I remember being like, oof, like that's it's just uncomfortable, you know what I mean?
So Selina, Batman and Gordon, they find out about the cell phone because they find Selina beating up Kenzie, a dirty cop. And Batman knocks the gun out of her hands when she threatens to do something. And, he says, if you kill him and Falcone, then you'll become just like Falcone. This is where we get the no kill rule,
he puts it down, dude. Like, he's like, no, like Matt Reeves as a director and those who worked on the script with him were kind of like, no, we want to make sure that this is stated. And he's very adamant against that. He's like, no, you don't do that whatsoever.
So in the very next scene, Selina actually reveals it. She says, all right, Dad. And then he just kind of looks at her, and then the minute she mentions her mom's name, he knew immediately,
he got.
Batman and Gordon arrive in time to stop her. He's about to kill her. Look what you're making me do. You're my own flesh. You're my own flesh and blood, but now I have to do this.
Yep.
Batman saves her, but then she grabs the gun, determined to kill him. And I need to make him pay. And then he says to her, "Yeah, but you don't have to pay."
Exactly.
he can pay, then you'll have to pay, you know? So thankfully, he succeeds. All right. Just moving along here. Paul Dano.
Oh man, this is. I love Paul Dano. I love him a lot, and we just get introduced to him now outside of the whole Riddler outfit and garb and all that whatnot. And Falcone gets taken outside, and Batman does exactly what the Riddler said he was going to do. He said, "You're going to bring him to the light. You're going to bring him to the light. You're going to bring him to the light." And he brings Falcone outside, and that's all the Riddler needs. He takes his shot.
Oh yeah.
Bam. Takes out Falcone. Now, there's a moment here, and it's never stated in the movie, but I like to think in my head canon that in this moment when Falcone is dying and he's looking into Batman's eyes, that he sees, oh man, that's Bruce. There's no reason for it. It doesn't need to be in the movie.
All right.
I just like to think so because there's conversation throughout the movie when he's looking at Bruce, when he talks to Bruce at the funeral earlier in the movie, when he talks to Bruce later, when he goes, "Hey, I want to know what happened to my parents, like what happened to my dad." Like he keeps seeing Bruce, and they keep doing this thing where he's looking at his eyes, goes, "Oh, that's the look you gave me. Oh, that's the look your father gave me." So in this moment where he's bleeding out and dying, and you see Batman's eyes, like he's in shock, like he's like, "Oh my God, what's going on?" And there's no reason for it, but in my head, I just like to believe in that moment when he locks eyes and he's staring directly into the soul of Batman, where he's like, "Oh man, that's Bruce." I just like to think that.
All right. I like that. It's a good theory.
Yeah.
So Gordon arrests Falcone, and the Riddler kills Falcone with a sniper rifle. Moments later, they give us a bit of a fake out where you think that Penguin's the one that he's like, yeah, I never did.
I didn't do it. Like he starts freaking out. It wasn't me. I didn't shoot.
Yeah.
Like it's so good.
And they catch him at the diner. He's having some coffee, maybe some pie. It's straight out of a crime thriller.
Yep.
You know, very Zodiac.
Yes, that's the word. Yeah, very Zodiac.
Yeah. So the Riddler is caught unmasked as forensic accountant Edward Nashton. Let's get a little sweaty here. In the comics, his name is Edward Nigma. And Reeves didn't want to have somebody named Enigma because that's a little too on the nose.
He's like, it's a little on the nose. He said,
yeah. So that's what that was about. So he's incarcerated at the Arkham State Hospital, where he tells Batman he took inspiration from him when targeting the corrupt. So this Riddler interrogation, another important scene. So he drops a lot of lines on him during this. Your mask is amazing. I wish you could have seen me in mine, but you're not wearing a mask right now. This is you. You know that you're really. This is who you really are. He's getting them agitated, and then finally he snaps. You know, he starts yelling. You know, you're really not as smart as I thought you were. You know, there's this one moment where we have another fake out. He says, "Bruce Wayne."
Oh my God,
Bruce Wayne, and it's just like Pattinson's great because he just kind of looks at him like,
"Yeah, dude." I thought he knew. I genuinely thought he knew. He goes, "Oh, but we did it," you know, and Bruce Wayne, and he was like, we almost got him too. And I'm like, oh, what? Like I remember, and you know what, kudos for them because they put it in the trailer where he mentions Bruce Wayne. I was like, oh man, he's gonna know who it is. So when the movie's playing out and they're talking and he's doing like, you inspire me, like we did this together. I could never go in there be as physical as you are. I don't have that. I'm brilliant. I use my brain. I use my mind. And he goes, but we make such a great team. And Batman's getting like super annoyed because he's like, no, because Batman does not want to be responsible for, you know, inspiring this type of person. Right. He's like, you went out there and you punished the wicked. I'm doing the same thing. I don't understand. They're going back and forth. And when he drops the Bruce Wayne, man, I was shook because I was like, oh, he knows.
Yeah.
And I was like, but he never. In my mind, I was like, oh, he knows, but he never said anything because in her mind, they're a partner, they're a team. But when it comes out, and like you said, Robert Pattinson does incredible eye acting in this movie. Some of the best I've seen in a cowl, where you can see the almost the weight be lifted when he realizes, oh, he doesn't know. Like, oh my god, you just take a deep breath.
Yeah, it's great. And this is where Dano really gets to shine because he's been behind a mask this entire time. So it's just been, voiceovers and such. But now we really get to see him, and he turns it up a notch. The screaming, right. Yeah. He ends up by singing Ave Maria. The screaming has been it's been memed.
It was not how it was supposed to go. It's so good. It's so good because Batman. Because Batman's going off and is like, "No, you're a psychopath who's gonna die alone," and yada yada yada. And he's just like, "Oh, no!"
It was great.
So good. Yeah.
So Batman goes back to the apartment, and with Martinez's help, he discovers the map under the carpet. He tells Batman that the weapon, it's a Tucker.
I like this too because again, it does show that Bruce Wayne sometimes it's not a difficulty, but it's the idea that he doesn't know what that tool is because he can't relate to a middleman, to someone in the middle class. And I really appreciated that because the police officer was like, oh yeah, it's a Tucker. That's what these are for. They do it. And like, he's just like, it's a what? Like, he doesn't know. And it's not because he's just, I mean, this is the world's great detective. It's not that he just doesn't know because he doesn't know. There's a class issue. And I like that it's not spoken about. They don't drill it, but it's just something that you pick up on where you're like, oh, he wouldn't know what that is. Because he would have no idea. That's a middle class thing. Like a middle class worker would know what that is. And I thought that was a really cool thing.
Yeah, so he pulls up the carpet with the device, and then he sees the entire map. They find out about the online community that the Riddler has found and inspired. Just really scary stuff. Very meta, because we see this today.
Yeah, I think that's what. Whenever we see movies, especially in comic book IP, where they'll take villains and they try to match the times that we're in, this is why the Riddler was so terrifying, because I feel like it was super meta. Like, this is things that we have seen, and people using social groups and everything else, and the idea that there was this chat, and watching how he spoke to his chat versus how he spoke to his victims, there was such a clear distinction. Where when he's talking to his followers, it's very much just like, oh, thank you guys. Yep, we're doing. And what was scary is, like, if you took your time and read through the comments of what people were posting in his chat, it felt so real. It felt like things you would see like in a documentary or in a news. Like, this is what was said in the chat. Like, that's what made it so scary.
Batman learns that Nashton has planted car bombs and cultivated an online following that plans to assassinate Mayor-elect Bella Real. The bombs destroy the seawall around Gotham and flood the city. Nashton's followers attempt to kill Real at her victory celebration in an arena, but Batman and Selina stop them. Batman saves the crowds in the flooding arena from electrocution, and he leads them to safety. A lot of people talk about the scene, the color scheme, the red, very inspiring. It's really cool. You get to see Batman say, like, he fights the criminals, but then you get to see him saving people.
That, like,
the end.
It's the first time in the movie where we get to see like a longer action sequence where he's beating up all the bad guys. He's flying around. He's doing this. He's grabbing him, throwing him off, making sure that they're still hanging from their rope so they don't fall to their death or whatever. Like, there's this big thing. He gets shot in the chest with a shotgun. Like, he gets saved by Selina Kyle. He uses the Bane juice in his leg. You know what I mean? Like, you get to see all this action, right? You get to see all these really cool things. But it was the human thing that he did when he starts saving the people. And that was something that we hadn't seen in the movie yet. We've seen him be a monster. We've seen him beat up tons of criminals. But this part was like, with the cinematography and the score and the narration, like all of it coming together, talking about what it means to be more than just, a vengeance or this and that, but he can give people hope. And you have that shot where he puts the woman into that stretcher and they're going to airlift her out. And she's just like, she doesn't want to let go of his arm. And it's this moment he looks, and it's just like saying, no, you're going to be okay. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it's great. It's so good. And it's it goes back to reflect on the Riddler, like the idea of the Riddler being like, "Oh, I was inspired by you to do all these heinous things." And he goes, and Batman's like, "I could be more than that. I can be more than just, the quote. I don't know the exact quote, but he just talks about he can be more than that, and he can give the people something, and it's hope." And he's walking, and he's holding the woman, and you get the sun rising in the background.
Great
Like,
shot.
it's just so good.
Yeah. And by the way, I don't want to gloss over it. This is a great action sequence too, because going against all these guys and yes, great shot. It was the Venom, if we want to get sweaty here.
The Venom, baby.
Yeah.
Like,
So, Reeves
did you think Venom when you first saw it? Because I did.
Oh, absolutely. He got a shot of adrenaline as when Bane would get it through his suit. Absolutely,
it was green. They made sure you could see it was green, and he just did the I was like,
there's a lot of Easter eggs in the Batman universe. If you go back and take a look at the movie, so Reeves knew what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, so we're starting to wind down now here with our breakdown. In the aftermath, Nashton befriends another inmate that we will come back to in a second. While Selina deems Gotham beyond saving and she leaves, she says she's going to Bloodhaven.
Dude, I popped big when she said Bloodhaven. I was like, yes.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So the first Robin hasn't even become a part of the equation yet, but we're going to get sweaty here. That is where the first Robin, Dick Grayson, eventually becomes Nightwing, and he's
Nightwing, baby. So I was glad to hear it. I was glad to hear it.
Batman continues to aid the city's recovery efforts and vows to inspire hope in Gotham rather than exacting revenge. That's a bittersweet ending. They kiss again, and she says, come on, join me. This, you're going to keep doing this, and the city's going to eventually kill you. You know that, right? And he's just like, no, this is where I'm meant to be,
I loved it. Felt very Casablanca. Like you have them say their goodbyes, then they get on the motorcycles and they ride together until they come to that fork in the road, and they each go their own way. And I love the shot that he's watching her from his rearview mirror, and he's just watching her. And the moment she's out of frame, he looks forward, and you can tell he kicks the gas even more, and he locks in, and he's like, all right, back to work.
So this, for me, wasn't quite the ending for the movie, because Nashton made a friend while he was in jail, and then they end up releasing a deleted scene featuring the friend. So let's just put it out there before we close out on the actual breakdown of the movie. Let's talk about this. The Riddler meets Joker in the jail. It's your boy Barry Keoghan, and it's very obvious of who he is. He dropped this line here. One day you're on top, the next you're a clown. Let's make it a little obvious. And it's just a little tease, and we don't know when he's going to come back again, if he's ever going to come back again. But I guess we don't know. I mean, you mentioned to me that you believe the studio might have did this.
Yeah, because it's a scene that feels very tacked on. It feels very like you said, like the movie feels like it ends, and then it's just like, oh, we have this.
Right.
And I could be wrong, but I feel like it feels like a studio. Like I remember watching it, and I was like, oh, I feel like that was a studio choice, that they were kind of like, hey, can we set something up? Like if this does well, can we set up something else? That's what it feels like. I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if Matt decided we needed it in there, but it feels like it was tacked on, especially considering that he cut the other scene that he had a full-on dialogue with Batman and Joker.
Right. And that's going to be my last screen share is
God.
Yeah.
That thing.
Yeah. Mixed reactions to this look.
Very much so. Yeah, very much.
And they did the right thing. It was, they didn't give you a full-on shot, just pieces, and a lot of blurred shots here. We got a little bit in the Batman, but this you got to see a little bit more. Reeves described this as him being born this way. It was a disability, so to speak. And I have mixed feelings about this.
The the look,
both scenes. So
yeah,
let's
yeah.
both scenes. So the part with Riddler and Joker, and by the way, no shit to Barry Keoghan, great actor.
Oh yeah,
a great actor, and he did the best that he could with whatever material he was given.
yeah. And he was blowing up at this time, so like he was everywhere. He
sought
was doing really well.
after.
Yeah,
They even had to shoot a fake scene
yeah.
because he didn't want to. They didn't want it to get out that he was playing the Joker, so he wore a costume and shot a fake scene. It was really wild. But it, I mean, I love the Joker, but I don't think the movie needed it. You know, it was just kind of like
think so either.
it was just like an Easter egg, just kind of tacked on. And then they did this is a trope. So here's my thing. Where when people are in the scene with Joker, somebody tries to out Joker the Joker.
Oh,
and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Love you, Paul Dano, but you started laughing maniacally along with the Joker.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you know, I mean, guys, y'all gonna hate me for this, but Michael Keaton did it too. When he said, "Do you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
Let's get nuts."
He tried to out Joker the Joker in that scene to the point that Nicholson just looked at him like, "Okay," you know, like.
Yep.
So I had my issues with that scene, and then with this deleted scene, just again, you know, the only thing I liked about the deleted scene is that it establishes that Batman has dealt with him before.
Yeah, that's kind of like the thing you get away from it is like he's having this conversation. He's dealt with them before. The look is very jarring. I remember honestly, and this is my honest first impressions, when I saw it, I was like, oh, he looks like a killer clown from outer space. For those of you who don't know, that's a movie from the 80s.
Right.
And I was like, oh, like it had this deformed mouth, very, you know, much bigger, wider teeth, if you will. And I don't know, like you could just tell there was quite a bit of prosthetics. We never get a clear shot of it though. We got pieces, and then I believe someone went online and put all the pieces together, so you could kind of see what it looked like, and you're kind of like, ooh, it's a very jarring look. Maybe it would be something I would get used to, but when I first saw it on the deleted scene, I was like, oh, I'm glad they deleted it, because I'm hoping that if we do get to see Joker, that they go, that's not the look we're gonna go with. Again, that's just my initial reaction. I was kind of just like, ooh, like that's a very interesting look that they went with there. But like you, I don't think the movie needed the Joker in the film whatsoever. I'm glad they deleted the scene. And at the end, I do feel like it was tacked on. And I remember even saying it to my wife when we saw it in the theater. I remember saying like, oh, I don't think they needed that in the movie. I think that was just them trying to say, if we come back, this is what'll be there. I said, but I don't think they need it.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm just going to say, you know, the reason why this ended up being a deleted scene is like, listen, people are going to talk about the Joker, you know, and we don't want to take away from Paul Dano's performance. And that little snippet, that was probably enough, but we could have done without it, you know. And if they had the scene in here, I believe it might have been talked about more than actually Paul Dano's performance. And you know, it's a deleted scene for a reason. You know, we look at Suicide Squad, you know, obviously we didn't get Ayer's version, but a lot of people talk about the Joker, you know, even though he's not even a lead character in the movie, they talk about Leto's Joker. So you know, those are my thoughts, you know, on that moment. But I mean, listen, I think the Joker's a great character. You know, he's amazing, and it's wonderful for anybody who ever gets to play him. But we probably could have done without it. That's an unpopular opinion.
I agree with you. I was glad when I saw the deleted scene. I was like, oh, I'm glad they deleted it, because again, I was also thinking about the flow of the movie, and we'll talk about the pacing, but like I was like, well, I don't even know where you would fit that in the movie where I don't feel like we're on a side quest. I was like, oh, where do we fit this Joker scene in? Especially because we're getting a scene just like that with him and Riddler. So we're getting that interrogation scene. We're getting that, you know, through the glass where we have the conversation. So, oh, I don't necessarily want to see it twice. And you bring up a good point, is that, you know, that would have been a strong conversation piece, whether you liked it or disliked it. It was going to be a strong topic of like, oh, who's the Joker? Who's that guy? Oh, that's Barry. Oh, I don't like the look. Oh, I like the look. Oh, I don't like the laugh. Oh, I like that would have been a big conversation, because like you said, it's Joker. It's synonymous with Batman, and everyone would be like, oh, okay, so like, is Joker next? What are we doing? So it would have been a very big talking point. And again, it's nothing against Barry, but like you, like I've said it before, I'll say it again, I don't think it needed it in the movie.
Absolutely. So we're going to stop there as far as our movie breakdown is considered. So that's our movie. And oh boy, Ricardo, what were your initial thoughts? I'm going to go first and then I'll ask you. So for me, there was just a lot of hype surrounding this movie. You know, the reviews were phenomenal, you know, through the roof. I'll just go put it out there. IGN said it was a 10 out of 10.
They did.
I'm seeing, you know, just high scores everywhere. It was nuts. And in some aspects, I feel like it did deliver because it was a step in the right direction for doing this Elseworlds Batman story. You know, it's definitely not like it was definitely not like the Nolan Dark Knight trilogy. Definitely not like, you know, what was happening with the DCEU. It was going to be its own thing. And I will say this, it's probably the most comic accurate Batman movie we've ever seen. Does that make it the best Batman film? Some people agree, some people don't. But for me, I believe it's probably the best comic accurate Batman movie we've ever seen. A little bit long, 176 minutes.
Oh yeah,
almost 3 hours long. That's another one. You know, another thing that I think about whenever I finish watching it, I feel like it's a little long.
Yeah.
So those are my thoughts. Ricardo, how about you?
Yeah, I agree. When I walked out of the movie, I remember, like you said, IGN gave it a 10. And anytime, especially if someone tells me that before I see a movie, I'm like, whoa, you're giving it a 10?
Right.
I'm like, all right. So like, it's not that I have my guard up, but now I'm like, okay, like there's certain expectations. And like you said, there are many areas in this movie that nailed it and surpassed. Again, I adore the visuals. I think the cinematography is incredible. I think the score is great. I think the performances are awesome. Like there's so much to like about this movie, you know, and then there's certain aspects where I'm like, oh, like I wish we would have done this or we would have done that. One of the things you brought up, timing. I do think that there is somewhat of a pacing issue for me personally when watching this movie. There's a point, and I said this to you off the air, there was a point where I thought the movie was over. And it was like, no, there's another 35 minutes left. And I was like, oh, wow. And it's just the way the movie's paced that way. You know what I mean? Where it feels like it's building, building, building. Boom, there's your climax. Oh, man, what a great movie. And it's like, oh, wait, there's 35 more minutes. I'm like, wait, what? So that does happen. Again, it doesn't make me hate the movie at all. It's just one of those things that I felt like when everyone walked out and people were like, Rick, out of 1 to 10, what would you give it? I was like, it's a little early. I said, but if I give it an 8, I give it a strong 8. And some people are like, really? That's it? I'm like, dude, an 8 is great. Like, what do we, why are we pretending an 8 is a bad number? You know what I mean? I'm like, no, this is a solid 8 out of a 10, man. There's certain aspects of the movie that I loved. Again, I love how it feels like I'm watching Seven with Batman. I love the comic accuracy. Like you said, it felt like we were reading a true DC Comics detective Batman story. Like it felt it. You felt it in your veins. I love the dynamic between Gordon and Batman. One thing that I really wish we had seen, but I told you this as well, that I'm like, I'm going to wait to see how the sequel handles this before I really pass too harsh a judgment on Robert Pattinson as Batman. I wanted to see the duality of Bruce Wayne and Batman. I really want to see that distinction between the two because, as you know, Batman is not the mask. Bruce Wayne is the mask.
That's right.
So I wanted to see that mask, and we don't. And that's okay. It's the first movie. We're getting introduced to Batman. So when he's in the cowl, he's Batman. When he doesn't have the cowl on in the movie, he was still kind of Batman. Like the way he talked, the way he carried himself. Even when he went to the funeral, he doesn't have the Playboy billionaire thing. Like nothing's going on, and that's okay. It's the first movie, and I'm like, it's year 2. Maybe that's something we will grow to see. So that's why I'm like, when the sequel comes out, I would like to see that duality. If the duality is not there, then I'm gonna realize, hey, this was a directing choice, and this is what they want to go with, and you know, it may lose a point for that, but that is something that I really wanted to see. I want to see Robert Pattinson with the Bruce Wayne mask, and we didn't get it. But all in all, man, I love the movie. I own it. Again, there's so many good things about it, but I would have absolutely loved to see the duality of Batman in this movie, along with the mask of Bruce Wayne. But all in all, man, still a good time.
Yeah, very solid movie. You know, I'm a mark for Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy, so you know the bar is very high. The bar is very high. So, but I still enjoyed it. It made our top 10 of 2022.
Oh yeah.
It made the top 3 for me at the
Yeah,
time.
dude.
So
Like
it's
the Batman is great.
it's a great movie. If we lined up all the Batman movies ever made, it's in the top half easily.
Oh yeah. Easy.
Easily in the top half, without even thinking about it. Matt Reeves made an excellent film. And there we go. He made an excellent film, but he made an excellent Batman film. And
Yes.
all credit in the world. And it's funny because I'm such a big fan and a Batman comic book fan, I'm going to nitpick a little bit more. The things that I want to see, because I've seen these other directors do these amazing things with the character, and I want to see that in the future. Not the same thing, but I want to see what you bring to the table.
Yeah.
That makes your vision special. We saw that with Burton. We saw that with Nolan. We saw it with Snyder. And now Reeves. I want to see what you do, So, but all in all, great film. Not a 10 out of 10 for me either. But
yeah, I give it an 8 out of 10. That's good.
Right. Still a great movie. Still a great Batman movie. Let's take a look at the box office here. Financially, also a success. The budget was between 185 to 200 million. By the way, with the way this movie looked, that's awesome.
Yeah,
and
dude.
It ended up making 772 million for the entire year. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a box office success. Just because a movie doesn't make $1 billion doesn't mean it was a failure, especially with a budget that low. So if we do, sometimes they say it's anywhere between 2.5 to 3 times. Well, even if we did 3 times, that would still be 600 million to be a success. So just really good to hear that it made that much. As far as the Oscars go, it got 3 Oscar nominations. Best makeup and hairstyling, best sound, best visual effects. Didn't win anything, but guess what? Any day that a Batman movie or a comic book movie gets nominated, I think is a good day.
Yes, it is.
Alrighty, folks. Let's move along here. By the way, any reactions to the box office or to the Oscars, Ricardo?
I was very happy with the box office because, again, this was the first movie coming out of that dark period where theaters were closed, and you're kind of worried. Right. You're kind of like, are people going to come back? Yes, it's the Batman. It's a massive IP, the top 3 most recognizable superhero on the planet, and you're still a little nervous. You're kind of like, uh-oh, like, are people going to go back? So I was very happy to see this movie be as successful as it was. And you bring up a great point, is a lot of people go like, why didn't it make $1 billion? I'm like, a movie doesn't need to make $1 billion to be successful. And considering the budget and what it made, that's a win. That's such a win. So much, in fact, that I was like, instantly, I was like, they're going to get a sequel. Now, we've gone down a long, bumpy path to get there. But when this first came out, I was like, this is going to get a sequel. And like you said, being as cheap as it was, looking as good as it was, huge shout out to the DP, the cinematography, everyone involved. Because for a lot of the shots, they used the view. And we talked about this on other projects. If you do not know how to use the view, it shows. It doesn't show nearly as well. But if you know how to do the view, you can do so much with so little. And so much of these shots and everything just look absolutely gorgeous because they knew how to work with the view. So it was great. And like you said, anytime a Batman movie gets nominated or any type of superhero gets nominated for any type of Oscar award, that's another W right there. You know Absolutely. What I mean? Had Joker been in this movie for 3 ways of the movie, he'd have got nominated for an Oscar. That's what Joker actors do.
That's right.
But yeah. So it's good news all around for the Batman.
Alrighty, let's take a look at a little trivia here. First up, so Robert Pattinson, he auditioned for this while he was shooting Tenet, and he had to lie to Nolan, saying it was a family emergency. And when he came back, Nolan said, did you audition for the Batman?
Yeah, no one knew, bro. No one knew. He's like, yeah, you auditioned for the Batman, buddy. Yeah, I know.
Absolutely. And when, let's just touch on that a little bit. When Pattinson got cast, it was still just this air of, oh no, the Twilight guy. But it's like,
Twilight guy.
He was starting to just get some more roles, Good Time, Tenet. And he's just added to that since then,
Yeah, Robert was... like, it's always unfortunate when that happens. Like, did we not learn anything throughout the years.
Right.
Did we constantly go back to this? Did we not learn from Heath Ledger? Did we not learn from Ben Affleck? Where people who walked away from those movies who go, I didn't like those movies at all, but Ben Affleck was the bomb as Batman, yo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, have we not learned? So when Robert Pattinson got cast, I was excited because, like you mentioned, we started to see him grow as an actor and work on these other projects. And, you know, whether it was indie or major motion or major releases, like we started seeing him show his range. And he shouldn't be tied down to just being Edward from Twilight. No actor should be tied down like that.
Yeah.
So I was excited to see him, and I thought he did a great job.
Right. Speaking of which, you know, we've done a breakdown to the movie Tenet. He was so charismatic in that movie. Great role for him.
That was the thing. There's a couple scenes with him in there where he's wearing the suit, being charismatic. I'm like, is that Bruce?
Correct.
Is that Bruce?
Yeah.
We didn't get to see it in the movie, but I couldn't help but think, like, oh man, that could be Bruce.
Yeah. Matt Reeves cites the Batman comics, Batman Ego, Batman Year One, and Batman The Long Halloween as the main influences on the film. Funny enough, Jeff Loeb, who wrote The Long Halloween, was one of Reeves' screenwriting teachers when he was at USC. The news reporter that the Riddler references and who Thomas Wayne is accused of ordering the death has of the last name Elliot. Thomas Elliot in the comics, who becomes the killer known as Hush, whose father wasn't able to be saved by Thomas Wayne. The movie even has the word hush over a picture of Elliot when talking about the hush money he refused from Thomas Wayne, possibly hinting at his son appearing in the future to exact revenge on Bruce for the sins of his father. So just another Easter egg from Matt Reeves. Yeah. Hey, you might get hush one day, you know?
Yeah.
Let's get a little sweaty. Both myself and Ricardo have read Hush multiple times. Incredible. Absolutely incredible comic book story. It's been adapted in the animated form, which is okay, but to see Hush live action, and yes, I know he's been on TV shows, but no, to see him in the movies would be incredible.
Yeah, that would have been insane.
Yeah. This is the first time since Batman the movie, 1966, Adam West, that the Riddler, Catwoman, Penguin, and Joker have all been in a live-action Batman movie together.
Yeah, think about that.
How many characters, right?
Yeah, and Matt Reeves, I remember him posting a photo of the costumes from the 70s Adam West Batman show, and it was all those characters. And people were like, wait, is he going to fit them all in the movie? Yeah. And that's what he did.
Yeah, and I'm going to keep bringing this up. I have a feeling that if Terrio and Affleck's Batman movie were made, that the bar would have been raised. There would have been so many Batman shout-outs in that movie. Just Rogues Gallery, maybe the Bat Family. We don't know. So but kudos to Matt Reeves for doing that with this film. Let's talk about some directors here. Denis Villeneuve, George Miller, Sir Ridley Scott, Matt Ross, and Fede Alvarez were considered to be the film's director before Matt Reeves was hired. So after Affleck exited, that was the list. And then obviously Matt Reeves got it, thankfully. Alrighty, let's show a little love to the cast. We have Robert Pattinson as Bruce Wayne and Batman. Matt Reeves had him in mind when he was writing the script, so he got his guy. Zoe Kravitz as Selina Kyle / Catwoman. A little trivia here. Zoe Kravitz had previously voiced the character of Catwoman in the Lego Batman movie. And if we go even farther, that was in 2017. If we want to go even farther back, apparently she auditioned for The Dark Knight Rises when she was younger.
Imagine.
That was wild. She didn't get it. Anne Hathaway was awesome, but that, when she was so much younger, but it happened eventually, and she was awesome in this movie too.
Yes.
So we have Paul Dano as Edward Nashton / the Riddler, Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon, John Turturro as Carmine Falcone, Peter Skarsgård. We got one of the Skarsgårds as Gil Colson, with Andy Serkis as Alfred Pennyworth, Colin Farrell as Oz / the Penguin. We also have, I can't pronounce her last name. It's Hannah Herzog as Annika Kozloff. We have Jay Lysergo as a young gang member. He would go on to play Tim Drake in the Titans show.
Yes, he did.
Yeah,
Yes, he
so I
did.
wanted to give him a little shout out. Yeah.
The head canon is he cleaned his life up and decided to go over there and be Tim Drake. Like,
yeah. Pretty cool. And we're going to close out the cast list with Barry Keoghan as quote unquote unseen Arkham prisoner, aka the Joker. Yeah. Yep. In order to avoid spoiling his role as the Joker, I said this earlier, Barry Keoghan filmed fake scenes wearing a police uniform outside the mayor's funeral. Photos of him filming these fake scenes leaked. So stacked cast, a lot to unpack as far as the cast goes, but I mean, it's even more so now since there was a show. I got to give it up to Colin Farrell. He was incredible in this movie. Just absolutely incredible. I like Zoe Kravitz too. She's got a great delivery. She had a very a stoic delivery, so to speak. But I think a lot of people were stoic in this movie. That was just just the feel of the film. You know, that was what we were going for. So shout out to Colin Farrell. Shout out to Zoe Kravitz. Shout out to Jeffrey Wright.
Yeah, such amazing Gordon.
Charismatic really actor. So any standouts to you from the cast, Ricardo?
Yeah, I wanted to point out, and I mentioned it earlier, Robert Pattinson's eye acting in this movie is so incredible. Like he tells such a story with just his eyes. And we've talked about this, like when it comes to acting, like eyes, like it's all about your eyes. You know what I mean? When your eyes are, you know, if you're not seeing the actor's eyes in the movie, you got to do much more expression. But he's able to just stand and not move a muscle and just give you so much with his eyes. And there's a couple times where I'm like, man, like when it comes to eye acting, it might be some of the best I've seen from a Batman from just an eye perspective. Just did such a great job. I like Zoe, Jeffrey, but like you said, man, like especially because you get to see more with the show. But even though Colin Farrell, his time in this movie is extremely limited, it's not a lot. It's not, but he steals it whenever he's in the scene. Like it's just, and to constantly remind yourself that he's acting under all of these prosthetics. You know what I mean? He's bringing this new life to this character that we've known, but he's doing it from a standpoint of like hiding behind all this makeup, this prosthetics, the suits that he's wearing. And he just does a great job, man. And I was so eager and excited when they announced the Penguin show because I wanted to see more, right? Like he's not in the movie much to the point where I was like, oh man, I would love to see more from Penguin. I want to see more from Oz. You know what I mean? He was so charismatic, so likable for a bad guy. And that goes even above and beyond in the television show. But like you said, the whole cast is fire, man. It's such a strong lineup. But Robert Pattinson's eye acting and Colin Farrell as Oz, dude, like so good.
Yeah. And I'll be honest with you, Dana was okay. It's that interrogation scene where he shines.
Yeah. They let him, he goes off the wall and he goes, nope, I'm gonna let it all out.
Yeah. So we are going to now start closing things out with our closing thoughts. And this universe ended up getting a name. It's the Reeves-verse online. Oh man, I did not think that this would get a TV show, and it did.
Yeah.
And the TV show succeeded. As of this recording, we are in the fall of 2025, and the Penguin show ended up getting a lot of TV show nominations and wins, including Emmys. Like, hello. Just incredible. Absolutely incredible. So happy for Kristen Milotti, who ended up playing Sophia Falcone. And obviously Colin Farrell as the Penguin. Just an incredible show. This universe is just getting started. And regardless of what's happened with the DCEU and now the DCU, it would be sad to see this universe end.
Yeah.
And I'd love to see it continue in some way. The Batman 2, the script has been, to my understanding, submitted.
Yeah.
And filming is scheduled to begin in early 2026. So we're hoping, and that's gotten pushed off. You know, it keeps getting pushed year to year. So I'm going to close out with us just having a brief, sharing our brief thoughts of what we can see happening with this universe. I'm going to give a shout out to Grace Randolph. She had a great idea. At one point, she said that there was rumblings that they could make this Earth 2, and then
Oh,
they could start expanding the DC universe on Earth 2. So not only would we have the Bat family or the Bat universe, we could have other members of the Justice League like Superman, Wonder Woman, and whoever else. I don't know how that would work,
oh
but
yeah,
with a Earth 2. So that was a great idea. But as of right now, I'm just going to take things one step at a time. I'd be okay with seeing the Batman 2, and then
yeah.
we just kind of take it from there and we see what happens. Ricardo, if you'd like, you could share your idea for what we could do with the Reeves verse, if you'd like.
Oh yeah, like when everything was going down, like you said, like there was a lot of fear that the Batman 2 was even going to happen. Like we weren't even sure with all the changes at Warner Brothers and DC, and it was just so up in the air. And I was kind of like, man, like I don't see why. And I was just like, we could just if this became the main priority, I would be good with like the idea that the Reeves verse would move forward, and not have to worry about being so confusing. And do people know what's going on here? Do we know what's going on there? Why is this? No, if we just moved forward from the Batman to the Batman 2, and because they announced Batman Brave and the Bold, and I was like, wait a minute. Warner Brothers had mentioned they didn't want multiple versions of Batman at the same time. I was like, how's that going to work? And I was like, oh, let's just keep it tight. And I wanted to just move forward with the Reeves verse at that point. I said, all right, well, let's kick off from the Batman. Let's do the Batman 2. Let's start integrating the Bat family. I think the Bat family is such a strong unit. You can build a universe on their backs alone. You could have a solid 5 to 10 year run on just the Bat family.
Right.
You could focus on Batman. You could focus on Dick Grayson. You could focus on Jason Todd, Barbara. Like it goes on, and you got your rogues gallery. Like many people would argue that Batman's rogue gallery is the best rogues gallery. Like it's all there. And I was like, hey man, let's just go there, and to bring up, what Grace said, where like, oh, that could be Earth 2. I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. Like you said, I don't know how it would work with Warner Brothers, but like now we can introduce a different Superman, a different Wonder Woman. Do they want to do that? That's where I'm like, okay, it gets a little complicated.
And there are fans still rallying for the universes to merge.
Yeah.
So they don't have to cast a new Batman. And I'm just going to put it out there. That would be a mistake, in my opinion.
Yeah. I've seen people that want, and that was the thing is I've seen people want to integrate Matt's Batman into the DCU, and I've mentioned before, I was like, I don't think it fits. I don't think the world that we got introduced to with Matt Reeves, and that Batman fits in line with the DCU. So I like it being its Elseworld thing. Like I like that. Just keep it Elseworld. Yeah. I was the guy that would say, hey man, you can't make Batman Brave and the Bold. I was like, you just can't. I said, focus on this Batman and move forward. So I was ready for the Reeves verse. I wanted to do the Bat family. I wanted to do Al Ghul. Like, let's do all of that. Like, let's bring that over. There's so much material there. And Batman is such a big IP. You got people locked. And, like, you mean the time we can finally work up to a Jason Todd Red Hood? We can work up to that. We can work up to Dick Grayson Nightwing. We can work to that. You know what I mean? Barbara Batgirl. Like, let's do all that. You know what I mean? Is that going to happen? Probably not. But it would have been really cool to see that universe kind of blossom and move forward.
And to your point, that maybe people need a break from the DC universe, and let's just focus on just Batman for a little bit. But we got to think like studio execs, right? They're going to say, well, there's all this money being left on the table, but with Superman and with Wonder Woman now being a big property, and with, this character, that character, there's, oh man, I feel like they're still catching up from just what happened with the DCEU. Because there were so many failed projects, unfortunately, financially and critically. And now they're just trying to catch up again, So obviously we will talk about the DCU again. And as of this recording, it's fall 2025. There's a lot of rumblings that Warner Brothers could get them sold again and merge with somebody else. So who knows what's going to happen with the DCU? Who knows what's going to happen to the Reeves? There's a lot of things. But as far as that goes, we definitely wanted to show some love to Matt Reeves, the Batman. So thank you, folks, for tuning in. Yeah. All righty. Folks, that was the Panel Bros official breakdown for Matt Reeves' The Batman. If you could please give us a like, share, and subscribe on YouTube at the Panel Bros, we'd appreciate it. The more you do that, the more it helps our reach. Also, if you could leave a comment below letting us know how you felt about our breakdown for the Batman, we'd appreciate that as well. Thank you, folks, for your views. Thank you for listening. We are inching towards that 100th episode.
Yeah.
It's coming soon. We have something special for you once we hit that 100th episode. So please stay tuned for that. For Ricardo Segura, this is Anderson Marchak saying thank you for coming to the panel.